Yeah, hi there, and these comments are for T from Syria, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. I'm looking at your message right now, so I'm going to read it, and I'm actually going to make a few corrections as we go. So, you say, I am really appreciated, so you can't use the be verb and the main verb like this. You just want to say, I really appreciate your program and system to cracking the TOEFL test appropriately and effectively. My name is T from Syria. I am an English teacher, and I am preparing to study, you probably want to say, for a master's degree this year. Maybe then you need to create a new sentence here. You can say, however, I'm still facing some difficulties regarding the TOEFL test itself. You need to put a period here. You say, I believe that my English language is pretty good. Now if you use this, put a comma, and you don't have to have but and nevertheless together. That creates a redundant type expression. But just use the coordinating conjunction here. So I believe that my English language is pretty good, but I find some reading passages, but I find that some reading passages are extremely difficult and complicated. So you need to put a period here to separate these sentences. My weaknesses are the implied questions, and I'm getting confused with the choices under the time pressure. Maybe period here. You don't need to say am and can. I also cannot remember the details in the listening section, although I listened to the English language easily and smoothly. I find myself also weak in organizing and picking up the important ideas to speak Okay, I find myself also weak in organizing and picking up the important ideas to speak about. I would say it like this. In the speaking section, maybe within the 60-second time constraint. In the typing system, I am too slow because I'm used to, I would use here, studying. I'm used to studying by books in the traditional style. Maybe put a comma here. So, to write a good essay under half an hour is near, you might want to say nearly, impossible. Okay, let's skip a line here. Okay, give me one sec. Alright, let's keep going. So you say, lastly, I cannot write useful notes, either to write everything I hear or to pick up ideas that find the questions are far away from these notes. That's probably what you're trying to say there. So you're trying to say that sometimes you're not taking accurate notes. The notes that you're taking down aren't really relevant to either the speaking or the writing passages or whatever. So I think I get your meaning here. You say, again, I find your 7-step system is really practical and recommended. but I cannot afford it concerning my difficult situation. I will put a period here and then use maybe a word like however. I need to subscribe to your additional program to take the IBT prep test to practice and give a chance to listen to your evaluation and feedback. So please tell me how much it costs and how I can subscribe to these tests. Okay, I can answer all of your questions that you have here, saying give me some advice. To handle these weaknesses. I think my level is around 80 and I need to score over 100 in 2 to 3 months. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. I think that your English maybe is not as good as you think it is. You say here that it's pretty good, but it took me 6 or 7 minutes just to make some corrections in the email that you sent me. So what I see from my end, you're having problems with just basic verb tenses. You're not sure how to use the be verb and what to do after that. For example, you could say, I am writing a letter right now, but you can't say, I am written a letter. So sometimes you're not sure how to form your verb tenses. You're also having trouble with your sentence structure, particularly using a lot of comma splices. So I want you to go to Google and see if you can figure out this one area, I think, of sentence structure. So here's Google. Go to Google. What is a comma splice? Right? And you spell comma, C-O-M-M-A, and then the second word is splice, S-P-L-I-C-E. S-P-L-I-C-E. So what is a comma splice? And how do you repair that in writing? If you could solve two things, I mean, of course you can't solve them immediately, but if you could solve your verb tense problems and then your problems with comma splices, I think that would help you improve your language use. And also, you have what's called over-subordination. Over-subordination means you have a tendency to create these really long sentences and you keep adding buts and ands and so's, and you keep putting these at the end of your sentence until your sentences become a little bit too complicated. So you need to solve those verb tense and sentence structure problems if you want to improve. All right, so let's look here. In my opinion, I think that if you want to take a full-length IBT practice test, I'm going to tell you how to do that. But in my opinion, you probably need more than 3 months to solve the problems that you need to solve in order to get 100. Because with your writing and your communication abilities right now, I would put you closer to 60 out of 100, out of 120. I mean, you just have a lot of really basic errors. For example, your problems with the be verb or your problems with verb tenses, typically a student who has a score of about 80 or 81, he or she doesn't have these kinds of problems at that level. So you're probably closer to 60. So what does that mean? It means that you're probably looking at, I don't know, 5 or 6, maybe 7 months of very serious study, I think, before you can reach your goal. Okay, so let's take a look and answer your questions. So my program, my 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT, it only costs $45 a month. That's it. Now, think about it for a minute. If you want to go to the intensive English program here at California State University, San Bernardino, that will cost you $4,000 for 2 months, roughly. So that gives you the difference. So do you want to pay $4,000 for 2 months study at a university, or do you want to study 90 or spend $90 for 2 months using my course, right? And my course is every bit as effective as these intensive English programs. However, you have to be committed to using the language a lot, and you have to be good at self-disciplining in terms of making your study plans each day. Okay, so that's how much my course costs. It's $45 a month. You use it as long as you need it. If you only want to use my course for 1 month, you can join my course immediately. You can cancel your subscription, and you have access to my course for 30 days. Now, if you want to use my course for more than 1 month, then do not cancel your subscription with my course, and you'll be automatically billed each month until you cancel. So that's the answer to your first question. Now, to your second question, the IBT, the full-length IBT practice test, I have another website that I've contracted with, and they offer 5-hour full-length TOEFL IBT practice test. Their test costs right around $30 to $34 for each test. Right? So you can pay that company directly. So what you do is, once you become one of my students, if you're ready to take a full-length IBT practice test, go to the 8th section of my course, and you can learn more about how you can take one of those tests. All right, so I think I've answered that. You say, give me some advice to handle these weaknesses. I think that my level is around 80. I need to score over 100 in 2 or 3 months. So I don't know. I think your level maybe is lower than what you think. I think that you have more language use and English language problems than what you realize, right? So my recommendation is, I don't see you reaching your goal in 2 to 3 months. I see you reaching your goal maybe from 3 to 7 months. That's what I see. That's just my opinion. Okay, so my advice is, there's 2 types of advice I'm going to give you right now. The first set of advice is going to focus on just things that you can do in your life right now to increase your exposure to the language. Now, the second type of advice I'm going to give you is how you can use my online TOEFL course to improve. All right? So those are the 2 things. So let's talk about the first thing. So first of all, you don't need a TOEFL book. You don't need to go to an intensive English program. But you do need to start using English as much as you can. So here's what you want to do. First of all, you want to start reading every day for about 45 minutes. Number 2, you should also be practicing listening every day for about 45 minutes. It'll make it much easier for you when you take the TOEFL test if you spend time practicing reading and listening on a day-to-day basis. Now, as you do your reading and listening practice, I know this is hard and it's not going to be perfect in the beginning, but we have to start somewhere. I want you to start taking notes on the main and the most important supporting points of the reading and the listening passages. Then, using your notes, you can write about the reading and listening passages. You can also speak about these reading and listening passages. So if you're writing, I recommend 3 250-word summaries a week. That's what I'd recommend. So write 3 summaries each week. The summaries focus on the reading and the listening passages. You want to do that. Now, in addition to doing the writing practice, you should also be speaking about these reading and listening passages. Again, using your notes, you should give at least 3 to 5 60-second oral responses each week. That's the first set of advice. That's my first advice I'm giving you, is you want to start doing these things every day. It'll probably take you between 1 and 2 hours to follow this plan. Every day for several months. Minimum. Now, in addition to doing these things, you can also use my online TOEFL course. And I'm trying to give you the most maximum benefit to my course as possible. So if you supplement my course doing these additional tips, I think that you'll be in very good shape. Okay, now using my course for you, I recommend that you focus on the basics first. That means that you should complete the vocabulary, pronunciation, and the grammar lessons on my course first. Do those first for the first month or 2. Once you've done that, then do the listening and the reading parts of my course. Once you've done that, then do the writing and the speaking parts of my course. That's probably the best way that you could use my online course. Alright, so those are my recommendations for you. And what you can do is maybe every 2 to 3 months you can take a full-length IBT practice test so you can monitor your progress. And that's what you can do to begin making changes in your academic English language proficiency. And if you have any other questions or information, you can go to my website at onlinetoeflcourse.com.